Good morning. We're getting ready to start another week. Coffee with Clarke. Always good to be with you in the morning, just for a short devotional time. Pray everything's going well for you and you're keeping your eyes on the Lord in these challenging times. We are in the book of John, the Gospel of John, and last time we were together we spoke about the absolute necessity of being born again. We can't enter into the kingdom of heaven unless we're born again, and that's how we get saved, when we're born again. And so we're picking up, of course we know verse 16 of the Gospel of John, the Gospel in a nutshell. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. So verse 18 to the end of verse 21 we're going to look at, it says, he who believes in him, referring to Jesus, is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he's not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is the condemnation, that light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone practicing evil hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. But he who does the truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God. And so when we share the gospel with people, or when we heard it the first time ourselves, we were most likely apt to reject it because we loved our sin more than we would ever understand our need and love for God. And so we wanted to keep sinning or keep doing evil or whatever, because we were lost. We were children of the devil and darkness. But then the Holy Spirit comes and enlightens us, opens our hearts, and gives us a hunger to know who God is. And then we end up becoming saved. We get born again. And when we're born again, we have a new consciousness, a new internal mechanism that convicts us of what is right and wrong. And whenever we do wrong or we do acts of darkness, in the days after we're saved, we're convicted and we can't live that way anymore. God changes our hearts radically in the beginning, and then changes our lives throughout our Christian experience as we live on this earth. And so when you share the gospel with people, don't be surprised that initially they'll be repelled by it, because they are used to living in darkness. They're not living in the light. They don't want to be exposed. Light turns the conscience into illumination, and whenever we're living in guilt and condemnation and darkness, we just don't like the light. Turn the light out. But it's like you turn the light on and rats are in a dark room. They scatter when the light comes on. That's what happens when the light's shown on our sin. And so the good news is that the Lord came to save us out of guilt and condemnation, and to give us a pure heart and a pure conscience where our lives begin to be transformed. And it's a daily process, obviously, but boy, I like the old term where we say we're not what we should be, but we're certainly not what we used to be. And so we're all works in process, but God's transforming us by his light and by his grace. God bless you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.